This episode of Nintendo Power Block is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support Nintendo Power Block and the Boss Rush Network, head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/Boss Network and see which tier is right for you. Thanks for your continued support. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nintendo Power Block here on Boss Rush Network. I'm your host, the enlightened, excited ADV. Joining me is a very special guest. Now, y'all might not have heard of this network, but you're gonna love them. You're gonna enjoy this network. From Play Some Video Games, one of my favorite networks to visit in this podcast, to PSVG. This host is from the PlayStation Experience, and another one that you might want to check out, Sacrilegious with Robin and Snertz. Everybody, please welcome Snertz. Hello.
Woohoo! Yeah! I'm Snertz and I'm here, and I'm excited to talk video games with you, Edward. This is going to be a good time.
Yes, we was just talking to a lot of Nintendo talk and everything, and I'm so happy to have you on, Snertz, because you come from the world of PlayStation, and I am a PlayStation gamer. I'm an Xbox gamer and everything. And so I love getting different perspectives about Nintendo from other platform content creators. And it's always good. So thank you for joining me this episode.
Well, it's my pleasure, and PlayStation is my most recent lover in the video game world. I have bounced around. Back in the day, I had a Sega Genesis that went from an N64 to an original Xbox to a 360 to a PS4, PS5, a little bit of PC sprinkled in between, all of that. But currently, yes, I am focusing on PS4 and PS5 games, and that's just been my bread and butter. And I have a very hard time with multiple consoles and multiple games. I play like one or two games at a time, and then I complete it, and then I move on to the next one. So like much love with the Nintendo Switch, and I do have a bit of a Zelda FOMO, especially after listening to your last episode, and y'all were going into some details about some of the games. And I played Ocarina of Time until my thumbs bleed. Like I love that game. It is quintessential Zelda, in my opinion. It was my first introduction to that franchise. And the one reason I have a 3DS is to like play Mario 3 and Zelda Ocarina of Time. So you know, like when I hear all my friends on the Switch and they're playing all the latest Zelda games and they're telling me how it's getting even more expansive, and you know, like Skyrim for Zelda, I've heard a couple times. That I do kind of look back and I go, man, maybe one of these days I'll get a Nintendo again and ride that ride.
See, I fear, because we had this discussion, if Nintendo was able to make a Zelda game and the graphics of Horizon Zero Dawn, or no, Forbidden West on PlayStation 5, the industry is going to look. I'm like, that's going to be insane, because I'm like, don't forget, this is coming from Japan. If they do a Zelda game in that way, and I would just wonder how the West will react. Because are we gonna have our jaws on the floor? Are we going to get other consoles and be like, no one is doing what they're doing? I'm like, how is this possible? Like, can you see a Zelda game in that art style, or that kind of you know, the richness of colors, the landscapes, and not so much like big dragons and things like that, but just like the detail they will put into it. Like it has this Eastern art like applied to it, but yet it's just something like, man, how did they do this?
Well, I thought Zelda's style already is really neat. My friends do have a Switch and like to play with their little daughter, the Zelda. Like the little kid will be like, "Mommy, do this, mommy, do that." And so I was watching them play for a little bit. I forget which one it was. I think it was the most recent, and it looked really nice. But to answer your question, yeah, I can imagine that being in the PlayStation style with the higher graphics and the snow properties. But the thing is like you better not lose that core gameplay. because like what
Yes.
you have to make it feel like a Zelda game, but look like something from like God of War or for Horizon Forbidden West. And speaking of, I mean, I was thinking about Zelda a lot while playing that game because there are dungeons. You go through the jungle level, you go through the forest level, you go through like whatever, and now it's just become more detailed. So instead of like
Mm,
just being a generic forest, it's like a redwood forest like you have in Northern California. Or instead of being there's two types of deserts instead of just one, where one is more like thick sand dunes and the other one's kind of like arid with like cacti and stuff like that. So I could see that happening. In fact, I can see almost any Nintendo IP going like that, kind of like angsty teen, like I'm going to be edgy
yeah.
and just kind of up in it. And I like, I've seen the cartoons, I've seen the weird comics where like they take Mario seriously and like, they have them a little bit more adult type of themes, and that could be fun. And but if you are going to make that jump, like Zelda would be perfect because I do think there's universal appeal for that. Even
Yes.
from like the so-called quote unquote haters of Nintendo will be like, well, but Zelda's kind of cool.
Yeah. So, but before we go a little bit further, Sturch, you want to introduce your podcast, PSVGR, the network. You want to give our listeners on who you are and about the network.
Sure. So my name is Snertz, aka Joshua Stearns, and I am the original creator, along with Robin Cohort of the Sacrilegious with Robin and Snertz, a Simpsons review podcast. We review one episode of The Simpsons, provide questionable impressions, go over the plots, and point out our favorite jokes. We also make an original content with a fake ad that we have in the episode, and that's been a lot of fun. I am also part of the Play Some Video Games Network, and I am the third host of the PlayStation Experience along with Haley and Delvin. And I've been doing that since November. So podcasting is a rather new thing. So thank you for having me on. And if you want to find me on all the things, I am Lord_Snertz on most of the platforms. I'm most active on Twitter and PlayStation 5. But I have threads that I use to promote stuff, and then I close it because I don't know who else is on there besides a couple people who left Twitter.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's great. The Simpsons podcast comes out twice a month. The the PlayStation Experience podcast is a little bit more sporadic because Haley has an inventory job, and so it's not like regular 9 to 6 corporate hours like I have. A little bit different, so sometimes the timing is a bit
Oh, she gets
infrequent.
probably up at like at 4 or 5 o'clock. Got to drive to a
Oh
whole other store and
yeah.
then do the.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I used to work retail, and doing inventory is never fun. And having to like travel to different stores, like it's a
Hmm.
whole. So we try to get a couple episodes out a month. And if like my schedule gods come up, it's so great because it's like Simpsons PlayStation, like, and they alternate week to week, which is fantastic. And yeah, I'm just happy to be on another podcast talking about geeky things. So thanks again for having me on.
You welcome. We're all looking forward to Astrobot. Like uh, I kind of was like posted this on my Twitter, and I was just like, when Astrobot drops, I need the Nintendo community to like really support the PlayStation community and all the gamers who are getting that game, like really support them. And it's not so much for a competition or that they need it, but be excited for a game that community is excited for. Like celebrate them, show them love, because I'm like, when they do it for our games, we or do it for any games, I should say, we should be giving that love back. So when Astrobot drops, man, I cannot wait to see people posting their videos, streaming it, talking about the game. Like I'm gonna be listening to a whole bunch of podcasts and getting people's impression, because that's a game that's really huge for PlayStation 5 right now. So
Yeah,
I put
I
okay.
was given a homework assignment while Delvin was dealing with personal lives, and we had Donnie on the PlayStation podcast, and he and Haley ripped me a new one for not ever playing the Astro demo game or whatever it is
Mhm.
that is on the PlayStation that shows off all the various things that this system can do. And I'm not a platformer. I'll be very honest with this. I prefer 2D platforming if I'm going to do anything. Like I'm still stuck in
Yes.
Super Mario 3 world, you know. Uh, and so I was very hesitant, but they were like, no, 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 do it. And it's adorable. It's so like cute. The only thing I didn't like about it was the motion controls, because to like I'm clumsy. I don't have
Yeah.
rhythm. I'm your average white guy who's on the fucking 1 and 3 and not on the 2 and 4. And so like I had a hard time like kind of like figuring it out, but like once I kind of cleared away everything around me and make sure I wasn't going to spill my drink, and I kind of got it. But it was, one, a pretty game. Two, the audio
Yes.
quality was amazing. And there's not a lot of platformers with this type of game on the platform. So if you like this game, Astrobot, and you want Spyro to come back, and you want some of those other older PlayStation titles to come back, Astrobot needs to do well. And I will also say that controller is very pretty. I don't know
Yes.
what it's looking at. I don't know about the my balls, but like it's a gorgeous looking controller. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping
Us
this does well.
us Nintendo players was salivating at that, and like, yes, Sony, this is what we love. We love when you do this, and everything. Please,
Yeah,
because I need, first of all, Sony, and I know you don't listen to the podcast, but I need you to get it together. I need a new Jack and Daxter, and I need the Resistance trilogy remaster or remake, or
yeah,
another Resistance. So I think one needs to be remade. I understand the old school kind of design and stuff, but it just doesn't. It wouldn't matter. 2 and 3, good googly moogly. That Killzone 2 was good. Killzone 3 is a gorgeous game. That it probably has the best snow looking level I see in any game. When I
okay.
man Killzone 3 on PS3, I was just like, this is ridiculous. Shout out to Guerrilla Games and stuff. But
Yeah,
yeah, uh, go ahead. I'm
Killzone.
sorry.
No, no, no. We're all good. Killzone is one of those games that I because I came in at the PS4. Like I was playing
Hmm.
Halo 3 when everybody else was playing Killzone, right? Like because
Yeah,
it one console at a time type of deal. But I what kind of disappoints me is that I just can't play it with ease, necessarily on my PlayStation, right? Like you think that
yes,
like there's certain titles like Infamous, Killzone, Resistance, that Spiral again, Jackson Daxter, like some of these like legacy like franchises and IPs that they have just kind of gone by the wayside for one reason or another. And some of it I don't understand. Like maybe them taking a pivot to like to be overgeneralization here, like cuddly content, and then like more serious, like, oh, I'm God of War, look at me, type of deal. Resistance, Infamous, all fit within that. Killzone definitely fits within that,
yeah,
and it just seems like things have kind of moved in a different direction for one reason or another. And I love like the type of games that some of these studios are making and have come out with, but you'd think like somebody would pick it up, or just bring this back in one way or another. And I think a real big problem we have is how much of a hell it was to develop on the PlayStation 3. It was
yeah,
not a friendly console for developers. When I was testing video games at EA and Activision, the PS3 was always the one that developers didn't want to work on. They always wanted to work on the 360 or PC versions because it was just easier for them to do their job. And I think there's like, well, from what I've read, there's some kind of technical issue with bringing these games on an emulator type of style to the PS5 platform, which I think is a damn shame. And I do think there would be some kind of, like, besides the subscription services, I don't want all
yeah,
of that. But if you sell me like Killzones 1 to 3 for like, I don't know, 75-80 bucks, and it has decent upgrades for graphics, it doesn't have to be too new, I would still want to play those experiences, mostly because I miss them in the PS3 era. Like I have only played like a few minutes of Infamous, and Haley and Delvin and a lot of my other friends who were old PlayStation heads. I just like, where is it? Where's my Infamous? Where is it?
yeah. The self processing, and I waited for the PS3 Slim to drop, because I feel like the cell processing was somewhat powerful than the Xbox, and definitely with the red ringing that was going on with Xbox, I was just like, I'm not investing
Sure.
any money into that system. But when like PS4 came out and Xbox One came out, I I didn't get, I got a PS4, but I didn't like the controller because literally was trying to play Destiny 2, and I just the demo, it was hurting my arms. I got Xbox One because of Ori and the Blind Forest and Rise of the Tomb Raider was exclusive to
Oh, okay.
Xbox. I played Destiny 2 on Xbox with that controller. I didn't even look at my PS4 for a good while. Oh, I played God of War and God of
Oh,
War
sure.
Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Trust me, I got those games. I got Spider. And people don't think I wasn't supporting PlayStation 4. I was supporting their first party.
Yeah.
Trust me. And shoot, heck, I went back and got Titanfall 2 after I beat it on X. Dude, Titanfall 2 is still maybe one of the best first person shooter games ever.
Yeah, I have it on my collection, and I still haven't taken the plunge yet. I just see it
Dude,
there, and I'm like, I feel like I missed the moment. But who knows? Like I keep seeing, and you guys were talking about this on your last episode with the Borderlands movie coming out.
yeah.
I just before getting on with you, I figured out how to transfer my save file from the PS4 version to the PS5 version,
Oh,
and
cool.
I play with a lot of PC bros for like the 3 or 4 friends that I do multiplayer with, and one of them, like, we're all kind of tired of Helldivers, and so we're like, well, like Borderlands 3 is like super cheap for everybody right now, or you already got it. Like maybe we should dive back into that. But Titanfall 2, I mean, it looks amazing. Your soldiers with giant mechs, like, and you're like running across walls and stuff like that. I mean,
It,
why not?
it's the level design, the great writing, the gun sounds amazing, and it's the narrative and the character relations that's just like, man, no one is doing this. And so that's why everybody like who did play Titanfall 2 understand why I got the 10s and got the 9s, but don't understand why I got the sales and everything. And we
Yeah,
understand Battlefield and Call of Duty, we understand that. But every person who has went in be like, okay, let me play Titanfall 2. After they come from that campaign, they be like, okay, now I get it. I think I'm literally going to be doing a top 10 list of now I get it.
oh
Of
sure.
games that you just like, I don't like gonna play that. That's not for me. And then you play it and leave the experience just like, I should have played this because Portal 2 was one of those games for me.
Oh yeah, Portal 2 is amazing. I love that game. It's so good.
So and I'm not a big Val person. I it just didn't do nothing for me. So it went on sale for $20 at Toys R Us when I was working there, and I decided to pick it up and I played it straight. And I was
Yeah,
just like, okay, this did deserve Game of the Year. This is why I got it. It's funny. Puzzles are good. The same thing happened with BioWare. I did not like the Knights of the Old Republic. I love J Empire. That was good. Mass Effect wasn't doing for me. My friend sat me down. He was just like, play the trilogy. Play
you have to play the
one to
trilogy.
three.
Absolutely, you have to
Yeah.
play all three.
So because only 2 and 3 had came out for PS3 by time, but then the trilogy came out by the time PS4 was about
Correct.
to come out.
Yeah,
Dude, I played that mug, and we came in and literally when we should have been doing work, literally was kind of podcasting for almost an hour and a half talking about the Mass Effect trilogy because I was just like, you made this decision, this character, this story.
yeah,
I was just like, this is insane, and so it just made me fall in love with BioWare
yeah.
and everything.
Portal 2, shout out to J.K. Simmons doing the voiceover for the executive, and he's like, we got to
Uh
science it up all over the place, more science. So I love the recordings that came out, and the puzzles were good, and it has that perfect blend of makes you think, but is irrelevant and has good humor. So good
yes.
combo there. And Knights of the Old Republic does not hold up. It shows its age. It will always have a special place in my heart because I
Uh
had that on the original Xbox. I played it like forever until the sticks fell off. I playthrough after playthrough. Can I do this? Can I do that? And I love the choices and I love the dialogue trees, but that combat and the level design and
oh
the scope like shows that, like, if you the just the age. Some games don't age well. Like I can always go back into Super Mario 3 and pick up pretty much right where I left off. I don't think I could do that for Knights of the Old Republic. I think I would get hung up on the combat, and if it crashed once, I would be like probably like done, don't care, done.
And the
Uh,
sad thing about it, I still own the physical disc on the Xbox, on the original Xbox.
Yeah, I still
For
have the
Knights of the Old.
physical disc too. Like, I think that's one of the ones that's not backwards compatible with the 360 though. And I
Mm-mm.
got rid of my original Xbox years ago because I was trying to just clear up some closet space. But yeah, and I heard there was a version on that you could get on like iPad or something to that nature.
Yeah, I think
But I
so.
heard it was terrible. Like the interface was not good. And I'm
Uh,
already hesitant to play mobile games because I unless it's a pinball game or Bejeweled, I don't do well. I find the controls and the holding the thing kind of awkward. But yeah, there are plenty of games that you just come back to like many moons later, and you kind
mhm.
of same thing with Forbidden for me on the 2 years later. I'm like I had a feeling I'd like it. I just never really decided to take the plunge. The pool was just not enticing in that regard for that one. I'm trying to think of another one that I came into way late. Well, the Far Cry series. So I started Far Cry 4, I believe.
Mhm.
I think it's 4, or was it 5? The one when they're in Montana. And then
Five.
that's 5. So, okay. So real late to the game in that regard. And I eventually went back and I played, I heard 1 and 2 are meh. But they said like 3 and 4 are great. And I went back and I played 3 and 4. And then I ended up getting 6 and like the expansions that they had for 5. And that was a franchise that I got into late that I was like, oh no, I get it. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that, Snertz. We're going to get into this housekeeping. If you want to support Nintendo Pop like in our other podcasts, you could go to our Patreon at patreon.com/Bossrush Network. Subscribing to tiers on our Patreon can grant you perks like the new exclusive post shows, voting rights for Sportercast, and video game book club, exclusive question threads for Spotlight Podcast, early access to After Dark, and more. As always, though, your viewership and listenership is enough for us. Subscribe to the Boss Rush Network on YouTube and like this video. If you listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or even if you don't, leave us a rating and a nice review on those platforms. You can find all of our banters, features, listicles, reviews, and more on our website, bossrush.net. And everybody, like I said, check out PSVG, check out their YouTube, go check out their content, support those guys. Everybody over there, they got great content. They'll make you laugh, and they're very introspective with their opinions and with the news, and they love their sports. Trust me,
They
they love
do
their
go on some
sports.
tangents. Yeah. So I should have said this earlier too. The PlayStation, the PSVG is every Wednesday, and they usually are on by 6:37.
Mhm.
And then they have Nintendo Shack, which is every Sunday in the morning. So if you're an early bird on Sunday, you need to listen to something before you go to church or whatever else you're doing in that glorious day. You can do Nintendo Shack, and they post the videos are live on YouTube and then uploaded
Yes.
to the podcast platforms as well. So if you want to see my ugly mug in person, you you can watch the live feed and we react to the chat as well. But it's a great group of people, and I'm very happy because I was a fan and now I'm a member. And I think that's kind of cool, and as well. So shout out to all those people, and thanks to them for helping me get off my podcast hobby.
Yes. Well, everybody, it's time for Snacktendo. Snurks, what have you been snacking on?
Well, so because I'm new to the podcast, I feel like I could kind of BS my way through it. I don't think I've had it this week, but I live down the street from the Kogi taco truck. So I live in Los Angeles. So I don't know if everybody knows Kogi or not, but it's a Mexican Korean fusion by this guy, Roy Choi. And he is
Ooh, hold on,
chef
wait.
kit.
I'm gonna need all to see Mexican and Korean. Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
go in,
So
King, because I need to hear all of this.
like short rib, kimchi burritos with like hash browns, eggs, and like sausages and stuff like
Mm,
that. They have this thing called a Pac-Man, which is like spicy pork, chicken, and the short rib all kind of blended together, and they can put that in a burrito with some veggies. Or if you really want to be a complete fat ass, like I sometimes want to be, you get the loaded fries. And that's where they put like 3 or 4 other sauces on there, some tomatoes, some onions, some cheese, and then they pile it full of short ribs meat on top. And man, that like you need a nap after that. So,
Shoot,
that's one of my
believe it,
favorite
not
little.
to just hearing this.
Yeah, yeah, and Roy Choi is one of those celebrity chefs. Like he's not as big as like Bobby Flay, but he's been on some things. John Favreau knows him. I think he had some kind of Netflix show as well, when he was doing the cooking stuff. And I actually got to meet the guy when he was just doing some kind of event at one of my day jobs back in the day, and he seemed pretty nice, even though it was a quick handshake and a pat on the back. Hey, thanks for coming. See you later, type of deal. So Kogi is one of my favorite little spots in Palms, Los Angeles, and I'm glad it's still around, because with the pandemic and everything like that, like
Yeah.
all the restaurants made it, but Kogi, they actually started as a food truck, got a corner taqueria store, right, and then they went back to a food truck like during the pandemic, and they're still around. So shout out to Kogi. That's one of my favorite things to eat in this neighborhood. um, let's see, now I got to come up with something else too. I will give a shout out to Irish Times, which is a local bar in my neighborhood, and I haven't.
Ooh.
There's three bars in the neighborhood. There's a sports bar, karaoke bar, and Irish bar, and I bounce between the three depending on how I feel at any given moment. And I kind of forgot about Irish, but recently I've been going back. They have a very delicious fried chicken sandwich, with the coleslaw, the big old chicken patty, and the ranch dressing, and then you can also get it spicy, and they'll add some buffalo sauce to it if you desire. And they also have a shepherd's pie, which is a very English Irish thing to have.
Yeah.
But it's like peas, carrots, potatoes, and beef. Like, and they top it with the potatoes and put it in an oven to get it nice, like golden on top.
Uh,
And once again, that is those are the things where like I'm really spoiling myself. I'm gonna pig out and have a good time. But
so
I do live on the west side of LA, and those are just two of many 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 examples of all the great
those,
I have in the neighborhood.
so do you pair the Irish food with adult beverage or just like a soda pop or something?
I
You
usually
could,
do. I'm an IPA guy, so if I am going to drink a beer, I usually prefer an IPA. And if you add like Guinness on top of shepherd's pie, you
mm,
need like Cow's situation where you have four stomachs, because I don't know how you're going to fit all of that mass. It's just a lot. So they also have this thing called Lost Irish, which is an Irish whiskey.
mhm.
So depending on how I'm feeling, or I might get that on the rocks, or a Mayberry IPA, which is from an El Segundo brewery company on the west side here, which is pretty good. But it most likely is going to be an IPA.
Okay, and that's for all our adult listeners.
Yeah,
Kids, stick with your juice and uh your Kool-Aid or whatever.
yeah.
I had, so it was I think 3 E3s ago, 3 or 4 E3s. As I was talking about, I made a list of what snacks you should have for watching the different presentations and stuff. So I had one that said get you can get some loaded like nachos and everything,
Oh, sure.
but I paired it with some cold apple juice,
Oh,
and that caused a discussion in the Boss Rush
really?
community because they were just like, "Why would you?" I'm just like, "You guys got to think about it. With nachos and everything, everything is hot and spicy." I'm
Sure.
like, "Why not pair it with the cold to like cool it down and stuff?" I'm like, "It still give that apple tart a little bit tartness to it," and I'm just like, "Try it. Just go ahead and try it." And people did, and they enjoyed it. They were just like, "Oh yeah."
It sounds fine. It's just a pairing I don't usually think of, at all.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean it. Yeah, because you're right. You also have the acidity, I think, from the
Yes.
which helps out, right? But yeah, it's a cold drink. It helps you wash it down. And as someone who's partially lactose intolerant too, like if things get spicy, like I can't really go for milk. Like that's not happening.
Yeah.
And water does get a little old. I also, if we're talking non-alcoholic, like I'm a big fan of lemonade. So anytime I can get some
Ah.
good lemonade, not that country time shit. Sorry, not the country time stuff. I will go for it all the time. So one more foodie thing. I grew
Great.
up in a small town, Chatsworth in the Valley, and they have a soul food restaurant out there called Les Sisters. Best fried chicken in town. Amazing stuff. You can get some catfish on there too. You get all the sides with like the candied yams, and now my mouth is like starting to water as I'm
Okay.
thinking
Now
about it.
hold on. Because
But they do
did you
they
do the
give you
catfish?
lemonade. They give you lemonade in a mason jar, and you sweeten it yourself. And I love that because I like things more on the tart side. So I'll put in like
Yeah.
a couple spoonfuls of sugar, and I'm good. Because my biggest complaint against lemonade is it's usually too sweet.
Uh huh. Do you do if you do catfish? Do you do it with spaghetti?
Not at this
And plain
particular
bread.
restaurant. No, no,
Really?
no. It's usually like cornbread and collard greens and maybe a coleslaw.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting because in our area, I mean, we do like catfish nuggets and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, but we pair it with spaghetti. We don't pair catfish with all the soul food stuff because we'll do like chicken, um, and probably some ribs or like
Sure.
um pork chops and stuff. We pair that with other soft foods. Anytime we get catfish, we do a spaghetti.
Do you fry the
Because we all
catfish?
yeah.
Right. And then what kind of sauce do you put on the spaghetti, or is it just like noodles and oil? Or
So it's like little spaghetti. Like you're
okay.
making regular spaghetti with meatballs and stuff in it
Oh, like
and
the marinara
everything.
sauce and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot
So
of
you
kinds of spaghetti. I mean, you can just, you can do olive oil and garlic. You can do,
yeah.
a white sauce, a red sauce. Yeah. So I just was
Yeah.
curious. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Basic boring
Yeah. No, I
spaghetti.
get you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But this is the thing about it. People do a hot sauce on the catfish and on the spaghetti. And that's when the discussions happen because some people like their spaghetti spicy along with their
Yeah.
catfish. Other people don't. They could like me, I could take hot sauce with catfish, but
Yeah.
I can't take it with spaghetti or anything.
It depends on the hot sauce. So
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Hot Ones show, the interview show. Do you know what I'm talking about? When the
Yes.
celebrities come on and they eat the gauntlet, right, of wings.
Yes.
And so I've purchased a handful of those, and we've only even done our own challenges back in the day for some Christmases and birthdays. Was a lot of fun. But I digress. There's a very basic Fresno garlic hot sauce that sounds perfect for this situation because I think it would be good with the catfish, and I don't think it
Hmm.
would ruin the spaghetti. Because what I would worry about with the spaghetti is like you may have certain hot sauces that aren't good. Like I wouldn't want to do like a jalapeno verde uh, uh,
Yeah.
sauce. They just would not mix well with the flavors. But if you had like a garlic based hot sauce and it just adds a little bit of kick, I could see that definitely being enticing.
And that would be new for my area and
Yeah.
everything. That actually be new for me. So I might have to try it out. I haven't had catfish in a while, and I'm looking. I might have to go get some next week. Hopefully, someone in Seattle knows how to make it. But we'll see. We'll definitely see.
It's not that hard to cook. You just gotta have to try and accept failure and eat the failure.
That is true. That is true.
uh,
Um, well, for me, everybody, I had Chipotle. I had some noodles, like some basic ramen noodles. I ended up getting um uh, a sausage, egg, and cheese croissant from Burger King. And man,
oh, okay.
I keep forgetting their Burger King's breakfast be the bomb. Still, them fish toast sticks, no joke. It does not play. They literally hit and everything. But like I said, everybody, I'm kind of keeping it low key with the snacking and everything because when we go to PAX and we come back and we're gonna be talking about a whole bunch of food. And I'm super excited to taste some Seattle food just to see
Oh, Seattle
how
has some
things
good
go.
eats. I was up there years ago for a cousin's wedding, and
Mm-hmm.
getting some salmon sandwiches on Pikes Pier was really good. And they had a really
Ooh.
nice sushi place that started with an A, but I don't remember what it was. But I spent about a week up there, and for like the first 5 days, I was just running by myself. And
Mm.
I think you'll find some fun stuff. There is also
Uh,
a ton of even if you don't drink, you can still go to these if you're over 21. Barcade and pinball halls,
mhm.
which I love. I played so much pinball when I was up in Seattle. It was fantastic. And they, various places do it a little differently. Some have like a more like a Chuck E. Cheese type of setup where they have all the
Yeah.
type of games. Others are more just pinball only. So it was kind of fun to just literally go there and you pay like for one of these places, you play like a flat fee up front, and you can play as much as you want, which is
Nice.
great because like unless you really have the endurance, I don't think you're going to be much playing more than an hour or so of pinball anyway. And it's just kind of
Yeah.
nice that like if you stink, you can play a lot of different pinball games, and not spend a lot of money, which I liked. So I like that business model. But I hope you have fun. I hope you have fun up in Seattle, and the event's a
Oh,
great success.
I'm super excited for PAX West. It's going to be I don't. I'm just excited. Well,
Nice.
everybody, we're gonna get into play with power. Start. So, what have you been playing with power?
I have been playing City Skylines, which is a sim city
Ooh.
builder, as the name implies. I really like this game. I got hooked on it in the pandemic because everything was shut down. So I made happy little towns with happy little people. And they did a remastered of it on the PS5 where you can expand and get all 8 tiles unlocked for a general map,
Mm-hmm.
where before you could only get 6 or 5. It was like very restrictive in that regard. So it's kind of nice to have like the full spread of the map to do with whatever you want. I cheat my little buns off. I put infinite resources, infinite money, but I leave the milestones to unlock, so you still feel like you're leveling up. And what I
Yeah.
like is just kind of managing traffic flows and making sure the business trade is doing well. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. I've played this game, and I never thought this is a game. It's not my forte. I'm usually not a Sims guy, but I've put in over 1,000 hours into this game. And I think part of
Nice.
the reason is I can kind of put a movie on in the background, and I'll be like watching the movie while letting things kind of cook on the city. Like, cause it takes time for things to build. It takes time for the trade goods
Yes.
to develop. Right. So you kind of have to like sit there, and you might not have the land space or the desire or whatever unlocked that you want to do. So you're just kind of like waiting for the town to build up. And then so you're kind of watching a movie. Oh, let me do a thing over here. I'm watching a movie. So I think that's why it's 1,000 hours, because it does take just time for the city to develop itself. Other than that, I did complete Horizon Forbidden West, as we've been discussing, and so that was a lot of fun. I even completed the DLC pack with the Burning Shore, and that was very nice. Great game, my favorite type of genre, where it's just like action game, big story, big map, run around, see stuff. The level design was gorgeous. I mean, I've already kind of mentioned this earlier, so I won't go too much into it, but I was blown away when I was in a forest that looked completely different than the other forests and had a completely different
Yes.
feel as well. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, we got the ice level, we got the desert level, we got the water level. Well, where's the lava level? And then I start the DLC, and there's like lava everywhere. I'm like, oh, here's the lava. So the level they were saving it for the DLC. And then, like I said, I just got back and trying. We'll see if I stay with Borderlands 3. I was messing around with it a little bit. I realized my guns are completely inadequate for whatever I was shooting this thing. It was
Yeah.
like a bullet sponge.
Something about Borderlands 3 just feels off in everything.
I did not feel as powerful as I remember feeling powerful, but I also went into the DLC, and I'm doing stuff a couple levels above me, and I'm trying this mayhem mode that makes things more difficult. So it could be just something's a little off here and there. But it's
Mm.
always, with these looter shooters, or even like the Diablo style games, it's always a little weird when you hit a new plateau, and then like you have this epic legendary item that you've been using for a minute. You love it. You have stories. You spent
Right.
time with this gun, and then all of a sudden, like, you get a new one, and it's like a little Pishika blue, but it's like way more powerful. And I'm like, I don't know if I can get rid of my really cool legendary gun. Like, it looks so
Yeah.
legendary, but this little pea shooter is kicking its ass.
Yeah.
So that's what I've
Yeah.
been playing, and I'm very on the fence about Wukong. I may get it, I may not. I it I love the mythos behind it. So I don't know if you like myths and legends at all, but they have a podcast that is literally called Myths and Legends, and they have an
Mm.
ongoing story where they continue to go through the journey of the West with as Wukong the Monkey King, and it's fascinating, and I love that lore. But I am not a Souls guy. Like, I get my butt kicked, I get sad. It takes too long. The only game I really completed that was like that was Neo, by Team Ninja. So we'll see. But that's it for me. What have you been playing?
So I've been playing Evoland.
Okay.
And I've been playing Evoland 2. It's a game where you open up different chests, and it changes the game, but it plays like homage to Final Fantasy, Legend of Zelda, Alondra, Chrono Trigger. It does all
Okay.
of this stuff. So I'm playing the sequel, and and I think I'm halfway through the game. So it's kind of doing this Chrono Trigger kind of thing, because when you go back in the past, it puts you in a 16-bit top-down action game, but when you get to the future or your present time, you're in 3D. You're like 3D
Oh,
models and stuff.
that's a fun
So
concept.
yeah, so I'm going back and forth. I think right now I'm like halfway in the game. I gotta go find this mountain and do this test so I could become like the soldier, so I could sneak in this they call it a pyramid, and I'm just like, this is not a pyramid, because this thing is missing the windows and half the plates are off, and I'm just like, this is not a full kind of pyramid, and it's so funny. So I've been playing that, so that's what I kind of just been focusing on. I haven't really did anything for my Xbox just yet. Like I said on last episode, like Star Wars Outlaws, Vision of Mana, even Emio and all of that stuff. I had to wait till I get back from PAX to pick up those games to start and start them. So right now I'm just playing a lot of backlog stuff that I have on my systems and everything.
Yeah,
Um,
we're about to get dumped on by the industry. Like it,
this,
like starting, like it was, summer lulls and everything like that. I always remember there's always summer lulls, right? But now we're like
yeah.
ramping up for Q4 and the holiday season, and folks are starting to try to get in early on it. Lots of games coming out.
Which leads into our discussion. So everybody, we're not doing family news this episode, because me and Snertz are going to be talking about our anticipated games for the rest of 2024. Asterisks. We don't know anything about December yet. I don't think there's any December games listed just yet. But we're gonna be like, I think about September, October, we're gonna be ready. I don't think we have a date for Indiana Jones just yet for Xbox. So we're still waiting for that one. But I think if it does hit winter, hopefully it does hit December, so we can pick that game up. Because that would be the leading game in December. So we're going to just do a rundown, and then after we give a rundown for that month, we'll talk about the games that we are excited for. Um, so we're going to just be doing September, October, and November. So September, and everybody, to let you know, we're covering Sony, Xbox, Nintendo, and PC, and the Quest or PSVR if there is a version. So GT Manager is coming on PC September 3rd. Harry Potter Quidditch Champions is coming on all multi consoles and PC September 3rd. Star Trekker is PC September 3rd. Age of Mythology Retold is Xbox Series 1 and PC September 4th. Day Alive, Wind Dystopia is PC September 5. Star Wave is coming on the Quest September 5th, I should say. What the Car is PC September 5th. Astrobot PS5 September 6th. Warhammer 40,000 Space Marines 2. Did that one got delayed, right? Or is it still September 9th?
I think it's coming out this year. Because they just had a big press release with all the previews, and the game looked like it was pretty much ready to go.
Okay.
But I don't know off the top of my head. I was very impressed though with what I saw.
Right, because I think they said it was getting delayed to something. I think they had a delay. But if not, everybody, September 9th. That's going to be PS5, Xbox Series, and on PC. Arcane Blast is PC, September 10th. High Jump 2 Survivors is PC, September 10th. I'm Your Beast, PC, September 10th. Satisfactory, PC, September 10th. Yars Rising, Xbox One and the Xbox Series, PS5 and 4. Switch, PC, Atari VSC. I don't know about the Atari thing. September 10th. Celestia Chain of Fate is Switch and PC September 12th. Grapple Dogs Cosmic Canines is Xbox, Switch, and PC. September 12th. I should say Xbox Series, everybody. Lollipop Chain Repop is PS5, Xbox Series, Switch, and PC. Also September 12th. Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, PS5 and 4, Xbox Series and Xbox One, Switch, PC, September 12th. UFL is PS5 and Xbox Series, September 12th. Wild Bastards is PS5, Xbox Series, Switch, and PC September 12th. Demon School PC September 13th. Evil Tinction PS5 and PS4 PC September 13th. Funko Fusion PC and console September 13th. Hands of Necromancy 2 PC September 16th. Marco Beyond Brave is PC September 17th. Dawn and Liberty PS5, Xbox Series, PC September 17th. Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster is PS5, Xbox Series, and PC September 18th. Frostpunk 2 is PC September 20th. Matchbox Driving Adventure PS5 and 4, Xbox Series and Xbox One, Switch and PC on September 20th. The Karate Kid Street Rumble is PS5 and 4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Switch, PC September 20th. Zoocosis PC September 23rd. Dark Sky PC September 24th. Disney Epic Mickey Rebrush PS5 and 4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Switch PC September 24th. The Puzzle Maker Seba Odyssey PC September 24th. Iron Meat PS5 and 4, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series and Xbox One, Switch PC September 25th. Apartment Story PC September 26th. Earth Defense Force World Brothers 2 PS5 and 4 and Switch on September 26th. Shadow of Doubt PS5, Xbox Series, and PC September 26th. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom Switch September 26th. And Reneda's PS5, PS4, Switch, PC September 27th. And everybody, this is not an updated list. This is from GameSpot of what they got, because I know there were some games that did get announced that didn't get on this list. This is a lot just for September.
I was very impressed that you got through the whole thing. I was like, you're just going and going and going. And this is why I can only have one console at a time, because like, if I had a buffet and I saw these options, right, I would just I would have be deer in the headlights. I wouldn't even know what to be doing with it all. I also got today. Donnie posted on the PSVG Discord that we should be getting the Indiana Jones on Xbox and PC this holiday in December. And then PS5 should be coming the first half of 2025. So that's, I don't know if that's it's from Nate the Hate 2 on X. So whoever, I don't know if that's a reliable source, but I think they would be dumb to miss the holiday season, because I think Indiana Jones would be a safe bet for wives and or not even, I shouldn't just stereotype for the gender, like just people who aren't in the games, who have partners or spouses or kids or friends, and they know they like video games, they know they like Indiana Jones. It seems like it could be a safe bet for like gifts, like, oh, I know they like Indiana Jones. I'll give them this.
So yeah, since Avowed got moved to next year, Indiana Jones now is just literally the leading game for Xbox right now.
Which is wild. Which is wild that that's the only game that's really like out there right on the radar.
Yeah. So, but out of this list, definitely for me is Disney Epic Mickey. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is going to be big. I think the Plucky Squire comes, I think, a few days or a week before Legend of Zelda, which I'm super excited about. Like, I've been hearing and reading a lot of people being excited for that. Yars Rising, some people said that's going to be one to look out for too. Warhammer 40,000 Space Marines 2. I hope they re-release the first one. Because I can't find it nowhere, and I've always wanted to play it, but it just never came into my mind. Seeing part 2, I'm like, this is gonna be camptastic fun, dumb fun, and I'm so here for it.
Yeah, I as long as I was very impressed with the previews that came out. They had a gameplay that was, I guess, in the middle of the game, and they have a campaign mode, which is important to me because I'm not a multiplayer person unless I know the individual. I do not like strangers telling me how much I suck. I don't need that. I could just walk down the streets of LA and eventually someone will say that to me. But I always have been from afar with the Warhammer. I'm like, well, this looks like it's right up my alley. Uh, it's bugs, marines. I'm a big fan of the Who Would Win podcast, which is a nerdy fight show, and they've had a couple of Warhammer characters on there that were just beefy, and the lore seems really interesting. So I would hope that the game coming out is good, and I'm gonna wait a little bit. I'm gonna wait for some people on the that I know to give it a shot, but that is on my radar. Definitely coming down the pipe, as well as I saw Star Wars Outlaws. Obviously, is something that I will
Yeah.
be interested in. I don't think I'll get it day one, but it looks neat. And I do like those giant. I mean, I just praised Horizon Forbidden West. I think if it's anything similar to that, where it's just an open world, go collect stuff type of video game, and the combat
Yeah.
and the stealth missions are pretty fun, I shall be into that as well. I know Haley and Donnie are really looking forward to Lollipop Chainsaw, so that's fun for
Same.
them.
I
The
may double dip on that one. I think I'm gonna get the Switch version first, and then may wait for a sale for the Xbox version so I can get like the achievements and stuff.
Sure.
Um,
Uh, so the Karate Kid Street Rumble. I clicked the link and nothing really came up. I'm very curious. Do you know if this is like a side scroller beat 'em up like Streets of Rage?
yeah,
It is.
yeah, it is. Yes.
I love those games. Shredder's Revenge, Streets of Rage 4 get a lot of playtime, especially when I
Yeah.
have someone over because I throw a controller in their hand. I'm like, we're playing, and I don't care
So
if you
it,
want to or not.
so yeah, it's in the style of Shredder's Revenge. It got that
Okay,
sprite based kind of beat 'em up flair to it.
because I
Yeah.
heard about the Power Ranger game that they're working on in that type of genre, but
Yes.
I didn't know there was a Karate Kid one. And as somebody who grew up in Reseda for elementary school, I mean that's right where the whole Karate Kid movie takes place.
Hmm.
I've always been interested in that. What else is on this list that I was looking at? Dragon Ball Sparking Zero may be something I play when it's free. Uh, I, I I like the Dragon Ball series. I'm a fan of the franchise, but I feel like most of their games are similar. They're like relive the same story that you've heard over and over and over again, and I'm just kind of over it. I would like something more original, like an original Dragon Ball Z story for the game would be something to behold. Um, yeah, that's about it. I am looking forward to the Indiana Jones, but for a PlayStation guy, I guess that's not happening until 2025.
Hmm.
Um, I saw some previews of Disney Epic Mickey Rebrush. Now, this is the painting one, right? Where they like paint different
Yeah.
landscapes, and it's that looks cool. I might have to give that a shot because it's weird how like Mickey Mouse games have always been there, and every once in a while one just kind of pops up that blows everybody's mind. Be
Yeah.
it like like Kingdom Hearts to a certain extent, but the Mickey paintbrush I heard was really amazing. Even back in like the Super Nintendo days, I remember a Mickey platformer that was a lot of fun.
The
Uh,
Capcom one.
yeah,
and
yeah.
and the Sega Genesis had one. Oh, that Sega made. Yeah. Castle of
I'm
Illusions with the Sega Genesis
yeah. Oh boy, I sure do love money.
yeah.
So those are some of the ones that I'm looking forward to. The Transformers Galactic Trials. What is that? That sounds
I
fun.
had to look that one up because I haven't heard of it.
Okay.
So,
So many of these games when they have these large events, and I'm
mhm.
thinking like, oh, what's this game Concord? Oh, this looks neat. Oh, it's a 5v5 hero shoot. Darn it, not
I
my cup,
think
not my cup of tea. So that
I
happens so
think
many
Concord
times.
is going to do good on PS5.
I
It
hope
might
so
not.
because they need something. But it's just my personal journey is like when I'm watching a trailer, I'm like the concepts look cool, like the character art, the graphics. I like where the story's
Yes.
going, and then all of a sudden they reveal the gameplay, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of a bummer. That's not my cup of tea.
Yep. So, well, you ready to jump into October? Because October, I'm gonna
Sure.
say, it's not big for Nintendo. This is big for PlayStation. This is the big month for PlayStation. So, October, my Master Detective Archives Rank Code Plus is PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. And let everybody know that that was a game that came on Nintendo Switch last year from Level 5. So that's October 1st. Until Dawn, PS5 and PC, October 4th. Silent Hill 2, PS5 and PC, October 8th. Amber Isle PC October 10th. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero PS5, Xbox Series, and PC October 11th. Metaphor ReFantasio PS5, PS4, Xbox Series, and PC on October 11th. That I know that one is kind of big. That's like a really big game that month. Transformers Galactic Trails, PS5 and 4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Switch, and PC October 11th. Undisputed PS5, Xbox Series, and PC October 11th. A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead, PS5, Xbox Series, PC October 17th. Super Mario Party Jamboree Switch October 17th. Retro Realms Ash vs. Evil Dead PS5 and 4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Switch, and PC October 18th. Retro Realms Halloween PS5 and 4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Switch, and PC also October 18th. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants Unleashed PS5 and 4, Xbox Series Xbox Series, Xbox One, Switch, PC October 18th. Fantasy Friends Dream Worlds PS5 and 4, Switch, and PC on October 22nd. Forest Hills The Last Year PC October 22nd. Romancing Saga 2 Revenge of the Seven PS5 and 4, Switch, PC October 24th. Shin-chan Shira of the Cold Town Switch, PC October 24th. Barbie Project Friendship PS5 and 4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, and PC October 25th. Shadow and Sonic Generations PS5, 4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Switch, PC October 25th, and they have the limited edition collection, everybody. So do go check out that picture, see if you can get your order in when you see this video. Ease X or Ease 10 Nordics PS5 and 4, Switch, PC October 25th. Life is Strange Double Exposure PS5, Xbox Series, PC October 29th. Monster High Skull Ultimate Secrets PS5 and 4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Switch, PC October 29th. And Shadows of the Dam Hell Remastered PS5, 4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Switch, PC October 31st. I do have Shadows of the Dam on PS3, but I will be picking up the remaster. East 10, I gotta get Sonic and Shadows. I gotta get. Let's see. Do, 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 uh,
You can definitely tell it's a Halloween time with this list of games coming out in October, right?
Yeah. Like I said, Metaphor I need to get. I'm not getting Until Dawn or Silent Hill 2 because I don't have a PS5 just yet. But I have do I think I have Until Dawn on PS4. So I have that original one on there. But what about you, Snertz?
Yeah, well, I want to apologize because I was not following instructions and I was talking about things in October and September. So my bad.
That's okay.
But yeah, I'm not big into the horror. I know folks who are really looking forward to Silent Hill 2, especially. But I'm looking here at the list and there's nothing that really hits me too hard. Sonic X and Shadow Generations. Now, the last Sonic game that I really enjoyed was on the Sega Dreamcast. And if we can get some of those levels, like when Sonic was running through like a San Francisco-like town on the giant hills, or
yeah,
like in the white jungle, and they had like the jungle music playing in the background, that was really cool. I might be into that, but I'm not too sure if I would want to go for the full game. I would have to do a little bit more digging on that because if it's one of the, like, I like playing as Sonic and Shadow. I don't like playing as anybody else. Yeah, so, those Tails levels, get out of here. Yeah, nothing else is really, a lot of these games I am aware of, but I just don't really have any desire to take the plunge, as I like to say.
Well, and that's why I kind of said it's a big month for PlayStation 5.
It is.
Because just like you, I'm like you. Master Detective Until Dawn of Silent Hill 2, just for being on PS5, is a big get for the system. Yes. Like, PlayStation owners are eating good. We'll have Zelda. So us Nintendo folks, we're going to be a little bit full for a while because until November, because who the nonsense that is November. Oh, good googly moogly. Because just to let everybody know, Mario Luigi Brothership drops November 7th. Dragon Quest 3 follows the week after that.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Like you got two. I'm like you got almost two big RPGs. Like we're, we're gonna be like it's not even Black Friday nor even Thanksgiving, and we're gonna be fed good.
Yeah.
Definitely for you know.
I mean, just going on the list though, you just see like PS5, 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 PS5. Like there's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's also nice to see. No shade on people who are still playing the PS4 at all, but it is nice to see that we're kind of starting to see the break between console generations, because that's been
Yeah,
something that's been so interesting with this latest round between PlayStation is the majority of people, or is it equal? I forget the stat that we had, but just as many people are playing PS4 as PS5, which is because the console still holds up. Like you don't really need to get a PS5 unless you're desire to like play one of these that are only on that console. And it's because so many games are on both. So I'm kind of hoping like, as we get into the later half of the cycle, we get more PS5 games. And if they could keep coming out on PS4, that's fine. I guess I shouldn't hate, but it's just very strange to me to see something so late in the console of the PS4 and there's still like these new releases like time and time again. And that makes me think like, well, Sony, you know why your PS5s aren't selling? It's because you keep coming out with all these games on the PS4.
right. And
um,
I think it's I, everybody's definitely waiting for if there's going to be a PS5 Pro and if there's going to be a price drop because they
yeah,
went up in
yeah,
price in different territories, and so until they say okay, definitely for third party, until they say okay, we're moving fully on the PS5, let's fully move on. They're going to move on. Once Nintendo will say, okay, all development and all of this stuff for our current platform is done. Once the Switch sells out, we're not sitting anymore. Once the games sell out, we're not sitting anymore. If y'all third party want to do what you want to do, fine. But other than that, here's our new platform. Blah 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 blah.
well, and isn't that why all those old games get so expensive, or is that like a different
Mm-hmm.
topic too? Because I
No,
do have
that's why they get
a
expensive.
3DS, and every once in a while I'm like, oh, let me see if there's some new game, and I'm like, this is an old ass handheld, and I'm not spending more on an old 3DS game than I would for a brand new PlayStation game. I'm sorry, I'm just not that much into
Yeah,
it.
collectors do not play around when it comes to Nintendo games.
Yeah,
Definitely, especially if it's still wrapped up. They'd be like, "Oh, you want to play this game? You're gonna really pay for it." They treat those games like it's a business, and they're trying to
yeah,
get
yeah.
rich off of not suffering, but off of your want to play those games.
I mean, it's all about demand and the willingness to pay, right? The whole reason a baseball card that has no value whatsoever, but if you have someone's like, I'll give you $100 for it, and you're like, oh wow, I didn't realize this was valuable. Okay, cool.
Right. And
So
then you
yeah,
look on it, and they be selling it for 3 times the price, so they
yeah,
make their $100 back and
yeah.
then some.
I think I saw like a gold edition Ocarina of Time, and it was like hundreds of dollars, and I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
why? What?
It's because it's a limited 64 card
Yeah.
or
Well, again,
Ocarina.
because
So
someone's willing to pay for it, right? They sold
yep,
Indiana Jones hat from the Temple of Doom for $630,000 this week, and I was just like, who has that kind of money? Who can spend that? That's more money I'm going to see like the next decade,
shoot, I'm trying to
easy,
shoot. If I
like
have that,
lifetime maybe. Who knows? Like
shoot. If I
yeah.
had that, I'm trying to buy a house and get that mug remodeled. Shoot,
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like
and
when
then have some.
you always have like those kind of price comparisons, like right when you find out like, oh, a day at Disneyland is going to cost me like $500 to $1,000, and you're like, there's a lot I could do with that money besides go to
Exactly.
Disneyland. And that's what I think about with that hat, right? It's like, yeah, I'm gonna wear that hat. You're just gonna put it in a display case somewhere. Like,
Right.
what the hell? But I digress.
Yes. Well, we're going to get into the final section, which is November. Last Spartan, Glory Over Madness on PC, November 1st. Mario Luigi Brothership, Switch, November 7th. And like I said, that following week, I forgot the date of it, but it is going to be Dragon Quest 3 remake. Mind Lock, The Apartment, iOS, Android, November 7th. Slitterhead PS5 and 4, Xbox Series and PC November 8th. Anton Blast Switch PC November 12th. Farming Simulator 25 PS5, Xbox Series and PC November 12th. Assassin's Creed Shadows PS5, Xbox Series, PC November 15th. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, Xbox Series and PC November 19th. So Stalker 2 Heat of Chernobyl, Xbox Series X and S and PC November 20th. I didn't mention Capcom versus Marvel versus Capcom. We don't have an official date for that game just yet, but once we get a date, a lot of people going to be. I mean, people already did their pre-orders and Steam wish list. Like people
Yeah.
have been getting ready to get that game, definitely for physical. Like people just like. I think it was. I think it was a few weeks after that after Nintendo's presentation when they went live on Best Buy for people to pre-order it. The physicals, bam, they were just selling out in pre-orders. People are not playing around with this game. They were just like, we need this much to hit 1 million plus. They don't care where from. It needs to hit because people want more, not only just the versus game, but they want a real Marvel versus Capcom 4.
Oh yeah, and I am super excited for it. That I saw that and I was like, "Oh, please come to PlayStation! Please come to PlayStation!"
So it literally was. I'm like, how do you murder a everybody else's presentation?
Yeah, you just come out with
You just right
that.
because it was just like because everybody was just like, oh, six song gonna be for Nintendo, six song is gonna be more for Xbox. Everybody they got the marketing. They hit that Capcom versus Marvel, and I scream, "What?"
I'm gonna take you for a ride.
And when I see, dude, I after the presentation, I had to go pick up my soul off my bed because it just fell out from the whole direct for games being announced. When I looked on Twitter and just seen all the expressions for Marvel vs. Capcom, I'm like, oh, Capcom did not come to play. Nintendo was just like, oh, are y'all gonna do this? We need to have that exclusive. Y'all could get y'all Monster Hunter Wild Hunt. You can get this, you can get that. We need to show everybody this. And Capcom was smart because they know, oh, let's put this out on Nintendo. Let's show it in the direct because everybody's gonna watch. We know that we're gonna get that coin.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
I
know,
also it's not just Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2, right? It's the X-Men Children of the Atom
yep.
fighting game, the X-Men versus Street Fighter. Also, one of the I love side-scroller brawlers, as I alluded to earlier, and they have Punisher on there, and that is one of my favorite games from the Sega SNES days. You play as
So
Nick
it's
Fury and Punisher, and it's a side-scroller brawler, and they still have guns. So like an enemy will drop a pistol, you can pick up the pistol until the clip's out, and then you're back
so
to punching fools.
is that one different than the Sega Genesis version?
No, it's the same thing as Sega. I mean, they might have to because they did different versions sometimes between the consoles, right?
Yeah.
But like, I played the one on Sega Genesis. I literally have it on my TV, ready to go whenever, and it's one of my favorite brawlers because I do love the Streets of Rage, the Ninja Turtles, the Double
Yes.
Dragons. Like
Same here.
growing up, because I had a sibling. It was always play with your sibling, play with your sibling. That's why we got the N64 instead of the PS1, like because there was 4 controller slots, right? So yeah, so people enjoy your Marvel Capcom. We're gonna do all the things. You're gonna pick those cheesy ass character combos like Sentinel and Storm, and never let people hit the ground. But don't sleep on the Punisher. The Punisher brawler is legit.
I remember playing it at we got a place called Galloping Ghost
Sure.
in Brookfield, Brookfield, Illinois. Um, and I remember playing it and enjoying it, and so now it's coming out on this collection. I'm like, I can't wait to go back through it because I played all of these games,
Yeah.
but like the X-Men, some of the
Yes.
X-Men's one, I just never got a chance to beat, and I because they never came to console, and if they did, I think they came to the Sega Saturn in Japan, and I didn't have a Sega Saturn here,
Gotcha.
and if you had to have that Game Genie cart
Yes.
in the RAM in the section and
Okay.
everything if you wanted to play Japanese games,
Oh, I see. You had to
import
go through
games.
Game Genie. Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
There was Xbox Arcade on the 360. and they had the Simpsons arcade game, the Ninja
Yes.
Turtles arcade, and X-Men arcade all came out on that platform, and that's where I have them. So that's when I was finally able to beat those brawlers for the first time because I didn't have to have 3 allowances worth of quarters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
those quarter crunching games are brutal, man.
so anything from this list, Snurs, that
Oh
you're looking
yeah,
forward to?
Assassin's Creed
Definitely
Shadows is
same.
right up there. I have not dove into an Assassin's Creed game in a while. The last one that I completed was Black Flag. Then that has just been some random stuff here and there, and I like it that it's set in Japan. I also love the humor involved. I saw a clip today where they show the parkour skills of the bigger
Yeah.
samurai guy, right? And like he doesn't do like the swan dive into the hay, he dude just like shoulders it, like he falls on his shoulder and kind of rolls and he's like, oh, that hurts. And
I
I just love
I
it.
don't know what I literally don't know what Ubisoft is doing,
Yeah,
but they are getting my money. Assassin's Creed Shadows looks, the first trailer that they show of actual gameplay, I'm like, oh, this is not only up my alley. This game looks beautiful and
yeah.
looks smooth and everything. I'm like, oh yeah, Ubisoft is trying to get back on everybody's good side.
I don't
And
know. They've
I
always been on my good side. I'm a big fan of Far Cry. I play all
mhm.
those. You know, the Star Wars game, isn't that by that's Ubisoft, right? Coming out, Outlaws.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've always been there. Like I don't know why people hate on them. It's like, oh, we're providing consistent quality. You know, like maybe it's not amazing, but it's consistent. Like the
Yeah.
Far Cry series from 3 to 6 is very consistent. The Assassin's Creed game kind of, depending on what you're doing, you got Mirage, which feels real different than Valhalla. Like I haven't played them personally, but this is what I've been told and kind of figured out. But what I like about Assassin's Creed Shadows, besides the setting, is the two characters. You have one that's obviously going to be more like heavy samurai based, and another
Yeah.
one that's going to be more ninja based. And what I hope is it reminds people of Ghost of Tsushima, but it's not Ghost of Tsushima. It's an Assassin's Creed game. They make their own path. But we'll
Ghost of
see.
Tsushima.
At
I
what?
I'm so mad at that game, Ghost
Why?
of Tsushima, because not only is that game gorgeous,
Yes.
I'm waiting for part 2 to be announced so I can get my PS5.
There
Oh,
you go. Is
oh,
that is that what's
they're
going to get you?
getting coin for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That the way that Ghost of I'm sorry for everybody for taking this conversation somewhere. Ghost of Tsushima, that intro and running through that
Oh yeah.
field,
Yeah. It's hardcore, man. Hardcore.
that I was just like, okay, I'm sorry, Nintendo. I'm sorry, Xbox. None of y'all are touching this game. No one is touching that game. And yeah, it gets a little bit repetitive closer to the end, but man, I love the voice acting. I love the story was really good. The fighting was amazing.
Yes.
Um
Very
there's
unique combat elements too. When you're like entering it, you can challenge somebody to a duel, right?
yeah.
And get like a head start versus just kind of sneaking in. And when I hit my 40s, some guys at their midlife crisis, they buy a Corvette. I upgraded my living room, man. New TV, PS5, soundbar, subwoofer. I spent some coin and got it all going. And one of the first games when I got a PS5 that I uploaded was Ghost, just so I can see it in all of its glory.
Okay.
You know,
How does it look?
it's so
That
good, and I
I
haven't even played the PS5 version yet because I didn't want to spend the $10 to upgrade it and whatnot.
uh-huh.
It upgrades everything, and I went from like a 1080 p screen to a 4K, and
Yeah.
it's gorgeous. It's huge too. Like I went from like a 32-inch to a 50. It chef's kiss.
Because I still gotta do the DLC for Ghost. And that's why I'm saying I'm
Oh
gonna wait
yeah,
for the PS5. I'm probably gonna do the $10 upgrade and get like the
you might
and
as
get all
well.
of that stuff. Yeah, or for the used copy. We'll see how that
There you
goes.
go.
But I'm just like, oh goodness. I'm like, as much as I wanted Infamous 2 or Infamous 3. No, Infamous 4 actually. I still need to beat the third one, Infamous, the one they did on PlayStation 4.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um uh I'm just like, I know they're going to clown with this game. I actually wanted Ghost of Tsushima when they first revealed it. I was just like, what is this? Why do
Yeah.
I need this? Sorry, Last Guardian and all the other games. Y'all can go to the side. I seen that and I'm like, oh, I was telling my the PlayStation people on Boss Rush, I was telling them I need this game. This
Yeah.
this is this is just like Detroit Become Human. On what I seen it, I'm like, I need this day one. I need to find out when the pre-orders went. The day those pre-orders went live, I had already paid everything. I'm like, there you go. I would be at Best Buy to pick up my copy. Do not fool around. Do not lose my stuff. I would be at those stores at 10 o'clock. I was up in that mug at 10 o'clock getting my game. I was not playing because that was when uh Paper Mario, the Origami King, and Ghost of Tsushima both dropped. And it's just like, I had to put Paper Mario to the side.
There you
A
go.
Nintendo host put in
Right.
a Nintendo
Yeah.
game to put Ghost. I played Ghost of Tsushima 2.5 weeks, doing almost everything.
Yeah.
Like, no joke, I was committed to that game. And the moment I put that mug in, even after I graded my whole character, I was just like, if I gotta say, for the year that game came out, it was the best PlayStation game the year
It,
that it came out.
it's definitely in the conversation of when people talk, what are the hits? Why are people buying consoles? Right? Like
Mm-hmm.
Ghost is one of them. It is a fabulous game, and I also appreciate if you're really into films and you like the old black and white, Japanese films. But I forget the director's name. He's very famous. He has he's fun.
Ryo, Kirishima, something like that.
Yeah, I'm not going to attempt it because I don't recall off the top of my head. But the fact that you can put it in black and white mode, I like how the actors sound like they're from Japan. I
Yes.
remember playing the Assassin's Creed that was set during the French Revolution, and all the NPC characters that aren't like major characters are that was redundant. NPC characters that are characters. Very good, Josh. Uh,
Oh, the Kurosawa mode. That was it.
there you go. And but like they all spoke with English accents, So he's like, he's over there, get him. Like, no, the French Revolution. Like, what are we doing here? So yeah, Ghost was really well made, and now you're making me think that I need to, one, buy the DLC, and two, try the new game plus, because I'm pretty sure I didn't get very far in that.
That's what I want to do. I want to go through the new game plus because I think they made it free for PlayStation 4 and 5, I believe.
No, it's a free. Yeah, you'll have to update the game and whatnot, but it's there because
Okay.
I did start a new game and I was a little disappointed because they cut out the opening battle. And yeah. So you're not going through like you were in the first game where you're with the horses and the invasion. It's takes right.
No.
I mean, unless I hit a button that moved everything, like it's kind of weird and it threw me off.
Because if they cut that, I'm gonna be upset. That's how
That's
you
like
start a
that's
game
what I'm
off.
saying. That's how you get the adrenaline pumping, right? And
Yes.
then the world opens up and you're off to the races. So maybe I did something stupid where I skipped to like whatever and I hit the wrong button. But if my memory serves, yeah, you do not get to do the opening battle on New Game Plus, which is weird because it's like playing Spider-Man 2, and you're gonna
Uh huh.
skip the Sandman fight. Why are you doing that?
Why?
Like, why would you skip anything? Like, honestly, like even if you have to like get rid of all the upgrades that you have and just have someone be bare bones, because I do wonder, like maybe from a technical standpoint, you don't want a fully
Mm-hmm.
geared Jin, right? To
Yeah.
it within the invasion, he's like, check out all my ninja skills, and so maybe that was the reason. Like they had too many crashes when someone had a bow and arrow out or did a smoke bomb when they shouldn't have. But then it makes me think too, like you could have just literally gotten rid of all the upgrades and then they magically appear as soon as the opening battle is over.
Go, and we're gonna get into our next session. Pack watch everybody. But was The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima the same year? I think.
I do not remember.
Because I remember, as much as I have my problems with The Last of Us Part 2, good googly moogly, the lighting is good in
Oh
that
yeah.
subway section of The Last of Us Part 2. I, 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 not, I was kind of like Twitter friends
Oh,
with
very very
someone.
Very good memory. June 19th for Last of Us, July 17th for Ghost,
Ghost.
2020.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2020.
Because I'm like, the lighting in The Last of Us Part 2 is redonkulous. It's
Oh,
so good.
nice.
Oh, so I went to go see Aliens Romulus.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. How was it?
okay. Great, amazing movie. We're going to be I think we're going to be doing a spoiler cast in Seattle with me and me and my other friend. We're going to try to get my one friend, to call him in, and us three going to talk about the movie, and everything. The lighting in that in Aliens, I had put on the tweet that I'm like, they have to be working with the team at Naughty Dog because the Last of Part 2 lighting is in this movie and it's good. The lighting in that, the way that they was just doing the lights and the shadows and using different colors and stuff, like, this is The Last of Us Part 2 and I'm here for it.
Nice. Yeah, I will see Aliens when it comes out onto the streaming services. I don't like going to the movies. I'd much rather be at home, for various reasons. But I'm a
Mhm.
big fan of the Aliens franchises. Aliens, Predator, Terminator. I don't care if it's mediocre. I'm still in for the ride, and I'm excited because people who are like me are like, no. This Aliens one, this one is legit. Like, it's good. Like, they go back
Yeah.
to the horror route, so like the first one, and I like that it takes place between the first and second movies. So I'm very excited to see, and I was impressed with the trailer when they had the face huggers in the water, and it was kind of like that trash compactor scene in A New Hope, where they're like, something in the water, something just touched my leg, and it was all red light. So I totally agree, and I'm excited to catch more of it. I am the one of even though I'm the PlayStation guy on the PSVG network, I've yet to play The Last of Us. I did not like the combat. So I skipped out on The Last of Us Part 1 and 2. Although
Two.
I was a fan of the series on HBO, I think the world
Uh-huh.
is fascinating. I just didn't enjoy the combat. As soon as we had a stealth mission where I had to take out some clickers, I just got very, very frustrated.
So two, I like the fact that you still do stuff, but because you have a knife and you kill them that way, I think it's
Mhm.
an infinite knife that you can use to kill them and stuff. It makes the game a little bit easier and a little
Okay.
bit more enjoyable. So that's what I kind of enjoyed it, because I didn't like the. I'm not going to get into it. I'll talk to you off screen why I have my problems with the with the first game.
It's okay.
But
We
yeah,
can keep going down tangents if we just keep randomly select. 30 minutes goes by. We could be out here all night.
yes. Well, everybody, we're going to get into Pack Watch, and we have a lot of games this week, so get ready, everybody. We have Crypt Custodian, August 27th. Step into the shoes of Pluto, a mischief cat who has just died and landed in the Afterlife's palace. After a brief and disastrous meeting with the Afterlife guardian, Kendra, you're banished from the palace and sentenced to clean forever. Explore the
Oh,
vast grounds that surround the palace, battle beasts with your trusty broom, and gain new abilities to expand your world. Hang out with Doom Ghosts, solve puzzles, discover secrets, and organize an ambush to break back into the palace? Yes. The next game is going to be Gundam Breaker 4, August 29th. Create your own Ultimate Gundam in the newest Gundam Breaker game. In Gundam Breaker 4, you will create and customize your own powerful Gunpla and put it to the test in threatening combat missions. Valkyries Mecha Theron, also on the 29th. The role returns as the hunt for Lord Raw continues. Pilot an advanced machine of death and destruction in this explosive 2.5D side-scrolling shoot 'em up, and sequel to the critically acclaimed Valkyries. Strap in and unleash Mecha Hake, I should say. After escaping Valorous, Darrow's hunt for the evil Lord Ro has taken him across the galaxy. As the final inevitable showdown looms, Darrow harnesses the awesome combat abilities of his secret weapon, Mecha Darrow. Monster Gem Showdown is also on the 29th. The excitement of real life Monster Gem events is ready to explode thanks to the franchise's most recognizable icons, the trucks. Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Megalodon, and many others. Drive the hottest rides in Monster Jam Racing, the current fleet, the legendary history-making trucks, and the wildest fictional beasts from the toy universe. Unlock dozens of trucks and collect countless different liveries. Where there me or liveries? I've never heard of that word or say that.
Yeah, I was all with you until that word showed up. I
Yeah.
actually saw a Monster Jam event years ago. Maybe it wasn't
Oh,
Monster.
nice.
It, I don't watch it on TV, but being there
Mm,
live, seeing all the carnage and action in person, very,
yeah.
very fun. Very fun.
Awesome. We have Shadow the Ninja Reborn, also on the 29th. It's 2029, a vicious dystopian future, and it's up to two warriors of the night to save the nation. After 33 years in the shadows, prepare to see the legendary action adventure in a new light, looking and playing better than ever before. Shadow the Ninja Reborn is Tingo Project's remake of a cult classic that the fans have been waiting for. In this 3D action adventure, you will use your striking katana along with a wide variety of weaponry that has greatly expanded from the NES original, as well as the acrobatic finesse of a ninja to face the onslaught of powerful enemies. Although the challenge does not end here. Six complex, expensive, and masterfully designed stations test your skills through devious traps and challenging platform puzzles. Critically acclaimed as one of the best two-player co-ops of its time, Shadow the Ninja Reborn lets you play together locally as the legendary ninjas Hayate and Kiade. And the last one, this is from Nintendo themselves, that everybody was just like their first M-rated game. Yep,
Mm.
is Emio, the Smiling Man Famicom Detective Club, also releasing on the 29th. Student Isuke Sasaki has been found dead in a chilling fashion, with a smiley face paper bag over his head. This unsettling visage bears a striking resemblance to a recurring clue in a string of unsolved murders from 18 years ago, as well as the urban legend Emio, aka the Smiling Man, a serial killer says to grant his victims a permanent smile. Does the Smiling Man really exist, or is a new culprit continuing his legacy? As a member of the Usagi Detective Agency, you've been tasked with investigating the events that led to Isuke Sasaki's death, along the way scrutinizing the clues and testimonies you gather for potential connections to the gruesome events of the past. And everybody, the Chapter 1 demo is available on Nintendo Switch. The second chapter that you can also play will be available on August 22nd, and the third chapter will be all available for August 27th. These are free demos that you guys can play, and your information carries over to the official release game. So yeah, that is all that is releasing on Nintendo Switch, and some of the other games will be on other platforms also, but that's releasing for Nintendo Switch.
I think it's pretty awesome that we have demos today where you're basically starting the game if you want to take the full purchase.
Yes.
I just that's just so cool. I played the I used to have Xbox Official Magazine, and they would give you a demo disc for every issue. And I remember
Yes.
very excited about the Ninja Gaiden coming out. Like it was amazing that they got you the first full level you could play as many times as you want. And I just think of like now I'm like, oh, if only it was the future, because then that would have been done, and I could have just gone right into level 2 starting when I got the game. And the Gundam Breaker, that's the anime, correct? The giant ships that the pilots and everything like that.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. That's neat. I remember watching Gundam back on Toonami back in the day.
Ah,
Uh,
Tsunami. R.I.P.
yeah. No, that was my introduction to a lot of that, and my little brother was the introduction I had to a lot of anime growing up.
So I knew about the Gundam series, but the first whole series that I seen was Gundam Wing on
Yeah,
Tsunami.
and I was on Toonami, right? That was cool. I mean, the guy
Yeah.
had a giant sai, and the other guy had like a sword, and I'm like, I'm in. Sure,
Yes.
this looks like Voltrons. They're fighting each other. Fantastic giant robots. I love
Yep.
it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Also,
Yes.
when I first, after cleaning most of my apartment today, I really got triggered by Crypt Custodian. That just sounds terrifying. Being stuck cleaning forever, but then I found out you're like cleaning up ghosts and solving puzzles. I'm like, oh, that sounds like more fun.
Yeah. So Well, Snertz, that is it for the show. Thank you for joining me. We talked a lot about PlayStation, everybody, and that's why I said I love it because PlayStation and like we mentioned, Nintendo and Sony has a history from the Super Nintendo days even until now. Definitely with Lego Horizon coming on Switch, and like that surprised the heck out of me when Sony was just like, yeah, we're putting this game on Nintendo. Wait, what?
I think
Huh?
that has to do with it being a Lego game. Because the Lego
Yes,
games are generally available on multi-platforms, and I think that has
yes.
a big thing to deal with it. But also a fantastic way to introduce people to some of the PlayStation lineup. And I would have more to talk about Nintendo, but as you gathered from this conversation, I'm still playing Mario 3 and Ocarina of Time. So I'm not really up on the times.
uh, but that's all good. Everybody, starts once again. If you want to go ahead and plug, where can people find you?
Yeah, so I am Lord_Snertz on most of the things. You can find me on the PlayStation Experience and Sacrilegious with Robin and Snertz that come out about twice a month. And feel free to reach out to me on the Twitters. You know, I do like having conversations, and I think it's really neat that we have this content creator group that is met through social media. And Delvin is a big driver, so shout out to Delvin Cox.
Yes.
Thanks for the introduction here, and thank you, Edward, for having me on your lovely show.
Thank you for coming on, talking about things Nintendo, but mostly PlayStation.
Yeah,
I-
yeah.
everybody. I'm telling you, when I say I'm a multi gamer, I'm a multi gamer. I had an N64 and PlayStation One. I mean, when I'm talking about PlayStation One, I had to turn that system upside down to play the games. That's the PlayStation One that I had. And people think I don't like other consoles and stuff. I'm like, no, I game on everything, especially when I started being able to. I bought my own Dreamcast, bought the PlayStation 2
Yeah.
Slim, like every PlayStation, Xbox. At a point, I didn't get my first Nintendo console that I bought my own until the Nintendo GameCube, and ever since
Oh, okay.
it's been that. So I'm a multi gamer. I have my opinions about certain games, but I will play anything on any platform. Yes, everybody, even PC. But Sturz, thank you for coming on. And thank you for listening and or watching Nintendo Podblog, everybody, which is part of the Boss Rush Network. If you enjoyed our discussions, please do subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast application. You can support us over on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. Any tier grants you early access to all of our podcasts. Follow us on all social media platforms at Boss Rush Network. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye everybody. Woo!
If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.